traders, so welcome to the Sharks Trading Academy, and for today I'll be talking about Pound USD. So I'll be going through the major pairs for today, and you can clearly see where our prices heading towards, right? We have this breakout structure over here, and now that we have this breakout of this level, you can see that this is a down to up move, right? And where our prices likely to head towards, either this level or this level over here. So over here we can identify a supply zone where prices did tap into initially, but failed to create a structure to break. There isn't any creation of liquidity over here when moving up. Maybe on the lower time frame you have, but over here we are likely to see prices taking the liquidation area over here. So we still looking to sell inside of here. This is a supply zone. Let me just label this. So this is a supply zone. We are waiting for prices to liquidate this level and give us some sort of a bearish move down. Otherwise, it's just a clean breakthrough and we'll wait for a pullback. So can you imagine we have a breakout of this level? Then we'll be waiting to buy, right? So we're waiting for a move towards maybe this last demand zone before a buy up. So that's the only way we will buy, right? We want to look for buys inside of this supply zone. So similar to retail concepts, you don't buy inside a resistance zone, right? So let's move on to the daily time frame. And you can see that we have this demand zone over here. So as much as possible, you look for sells inside of here. So can you see that we have this move over here? We have this low created here. So if prices were to give us a strong breakdown and a weak pullback, right, you can actually sell into this level with anticipation that it will move up. So it really depends on you whether you're going to buy over here, right? Because you need to see whether this move over here is a retracement move from this swing for a continuation towards the upside, or is this a reversal move, right? So ultimately, I'll wait for a break of structure over here. So if prices gives me a clean breakdown, then we are sure that prices are moving downside, right, towards all these levels over here, all these lows created over here. We can take them out. So ideally, we want to wait for a strong breakdown, a pullback into these levels over here before we take a sell, clearing all of these levels. Otherwise, wait for a breakout and then a pullback onto maybe this last demand zone over here. So next up, we have the New Zealand dollar. We will start off with the weekly time frame. You can see that we have this last sell to buy move over here, which almost got tapped into. And the next buy to sell move or sell to buy move will be at this area. So this is our next demand level, and this as well. So these are areas where we are looking to buy from if you were to be a buyer, right? And over here you can see prices taps perfectly into this level, liquidates this position over here, and all of these highs over here. So all the orders lying above this level has been taken out by this wick. So why this area, right? So over here, if you dive deeper into this demand level, supply level, you can see on the daily time frame, we have a buy to sell move that didn't got liquidated yet. So can you see that over here, we did not liquidate this buy to sell move. Prices wicked off over here, leaving behind an imbalance inside of here, right? So let me just mark this out, imbalance, and move off to current prices. So you can see prices taps into it perfectly. This is the supply, and this would be our imbalance, right? So prices filled this level, taps into this zone, and broke structure. So can you see this move over here? Broke structure, right? And we are likely to sell. We are going for sells towards this level ultimately, right? So can you see how prices are being delivered? We have an up move, tapping into a weekly or daily sell zone over here. Sorry, let me just draw this, right? So prices moves off towards this level, taps into it, and if you want to see a continuation towards the upside, if you want to be a buyer, you're likely towards buying over here, or maybe here, or the immediate buy area over here. So you can see that we have a demand zone as well inside of here. So it's okay for us to take a sell using this buy to sell candle over here. So you can see this is the last up move before the down move, right? And this wick actually liquidated this level over here. So we are looking for sells as prices approaches this area, right? Tap into a zone over here. So this will be our supply zone again. And you can actually dive deeper to refine this area to catch a move on the lower time frame, okay? Before moving towards this level. And over here, we will consider to buy again if we see some sort of a schematic. So if prices come back down, shows us price action or any move that it wants to stop, right? Something like this, then we'll take a buy over here, right? If there is an unmitigated zone over here, we can take a buy towards maybe previous highs, right? Or a break of structure over here. However, if prices are delivered to us in a one-directional way, what do I mean by that? So if prices don't show us any signs of stopping, right, then we see a one-directional move down, then you're likely to believe that prices will come back up towards this imbalance and unmitigated area for a sell move towards lower prices over here, and we'll catch a buy here instead. So over here, we have the USD CHF. We can clearly identify this break of structure over here, right? So this is a break of structure and left behind an area over here, right? So this is our demand zone on the weekly time frame, right? So as prices approaches this level, it created a trendline liquidity, wicked out, created a low that got taken out as well, and eventually prices makes a break of structure, right? And this tells us that on the weekly time frame, prices wants to move away, right? It wants to move upside, right? And over here you can see that we have a nice weekly demand zone. So it's this whole down move over here, right? So you can clearly see this last week actually cleared these lows over here. So we take this whole move, right? So technically we are on a buy zone already. On the weekly time frame, we are in a demand zone when we can actually buy into previous highs. So you can clearly identify a support zone as well, right? And as in a supply zone, sorry. So if you want to sell, if you want to be a seller, you want to sell over here, right? You wouldn't want to sell inside of here because there's no structure on the weekly time frame. And weekly time frame tells you that it breaks out of structure and it wants to move upside, right? So if you want to be a seller, you want to sell here. And if you want to be a buyer, you are at a demand zone now, and you can clearly buy towards this supply zone for about a 390 pip move, right? So if you to drop down to the daily time frame, you can actually refine this area already. So over here, this is the last sell to buy move, right? So can you see this candle over here? Clear these liquidity levels over here. So on the lower time frame, this is a sell move, right? You will see red candles inside here, and that is why we can use this level as our demand zone. And prices taps in perfectly, you can see, right? And makes an upside move. So we are likely to see a move up towards maybe previous highs or maybe towards these levels over here. Okay, you can clearly identify many supply zones within this daily time frame as well. So all these levels are partials for you to take. So as prices move towards this, you can take some profits over here, or maybe you can even consider levels over here, or even higher places. So over here, you can see that there isn't any supply zone. Maybe on the lower time frame you have, right? And you're likely to see a move towards the upside, at least towards the supply zone. So if prices decides to move away from here towards the downside, then you're looking to buy inside of this demand zone on the weekly, right? Because this is such a huge zone. So you are likely to see refined areas inside of these levels. So maybe on the daily time frame, you can see like a refined area inside of here where prices wants to move towards. And if it fails to make a higher high, you are likely to see a move down towards this area to continue the buy side, right? So next up, we have the dollar yen. You can clearly see a strong breakdown over here, right? Clearing levels here. Right? So whatever trend line you can draw, whatever support you can draw has all been taken out by this strong down move, followed by this strong push to mitigate supply levels over here, right? And now you can see prices gives us a slow climb or a slow move down and eventually make a rally, correct? So this rally taps into a supply zone. So let me draw it out for you. Can you see this, the highest candle over here, this wick? This would be our supply here. Right. So this supply zone is relatively huge. And if you project it to the right as of current prices, you can clearly see prices taps into this supply zone on the daily time frame before breaking down. So can you see that this is a markup for prices to eventually move towards this supply zone to take us lower? All right. So now we have a break of structure. You are not sure whether prices will hold, right? You're not sure whether this supply zone will hold until you see this level over here. You see this breakdown, this break of structure, and now you are convinced that okay, prices may want to take us lower, right? And you can see a breakdown move and a pullback into this level. So prices may tap into this level for buyers to participate, to push prices further and deeper into this supply zone. And you can go down to the lower time frame to identify supply zones. So can you see on the 4-hour time frame, you have this supply zone that prices got rejected from. So now you want to be a seller. So you want to be a seller, you want to look for a shift in structure, right? On the daily time frame, you have a supply zone where prices taps into, shows you that it wants to go lower, right? By this break of structure. So now you are convinced that prices want to go lower, right? Maybe towards, let's say this level, okay? Let's say prices wants to move towards this level to potentially buy, or maybe even deeper or lower areas, maybe over here. Maybe over here, okay? So your short-term bias now is downtrend, right? You're looking for sell-side move. And as prices breaks this level, it comes back up to mitigate this H4 or 4-hour supply zone. So let me just label as well. This is a supply zone on the 4 hours. Okay, and prices got rejected clearly, right? So you go down to the hourly time frame. You're waiting for a shift and a break of structure because this is all buy side move. You can see everything over here is buy side until this point where it tells you that okay, prices are stopping. There is a creation of liquidity for prices to break and take them before moving downside, correct? So ultimately, we are waiting for a breakdown of this level, give us a pullback into deeper areas over here to catch a sell. Okay, maybe towards this level as our first target. We are not sure whether prices will turn exactly at this point or whether prices will go deeper into this supply zone over here. So if you refine it further, right, you can realize that you have a refined zone over here where prices may even go towards, right? So we never know whether this level is the ultimate high, correct? So for those that trade Wyckoff, right, you may not know that this is your, maybe your UTED, right, or your uptrust. So you're waiting for prices to move towards this level. This is your goal, right? A breakdown, a pullback into unmitigated areas inside of here to catch this sell side move. More than enough for you to catch a huge chunk of move, right? And whether prices breaks down from here or creates another markup to higher prices to mitigate levels deeper inside of here, right? This refined zone before moving down, that is up to it, right? You let the prices move, okay? And you just capture whatever you can pick over here. So breakdown, pullback, sell into this level. If you want to be a buy, wait for this schematic to present. Accumulation over here, strong breakout, shift in structure, shift in momentum, pull back into a demand zone if there is, before a continuation move towards the refined zone over here. So next up for gold, you can see that prices are moving towards our refined zone. This is our ultimate take profit level. Of course, we can aim for even higher prices over here, right? But we are likely to suspect that prices may turn from here for fair participation in the market. So for those that trades on a higher time frame, you can see that there isn't any participation over here. You can't catch buys inside of this area, except on the lower time frame. So as prices moves toward this 1930 level, it may show you a sell move towards potential buy areas. So let me just remove the drawings. You can see that on the daily time frame, you have several buy areas. You have one over here, you have one over here as well, right? So you can catch moves inside of here, right? As well as these levels. So just remember 1825 and maybe about 1770. These two areas are potential buy areas, all right? So where do prices ultimately want to move towards? Daily time frame 1935 area, And you can catch sell moves inside of here as well, because you can see prices are still downtrend, right? So this is the major swing high point where prices may give you a markup before a strong breakdown. So these levels that we're looking to buy may not even hold, right? You have to see at that point of time where what do prices present to you? How do prices being delivered to you, right? So for now, 1930 will be the target. So over here, we have the Euro Pound. You can see that we have identified many buy zones inside of here. We have the weekly demand zone, daily demand zone. We have another weekly demand zone over here. So these areas over here are potential buy areas, right? So if we drop down to the daily time frame, you realize that we have a sell side move currently, right? Although we have a breakout structure, we now have a secondary breakout structure on the immediate time frame. So this tells you that prices wants to move higher because of this break, right? This initial impulse buy side move that breaks this level, as well as this clearing of liquidity over here. So you can see that we have equal lows over here, right? And this strong move broke out of structure and tells us that prices wants to go higher. But with this immediate breakdown, as well as this move over here, we are likely to believe that prices are going to meet lower prices over here. You see this demand zone on the daily time frame? We are likely to see a downside move towards this demand zone before a potential move up, right? So this means that we can catch sell moves into this demand zone. If you go down to the hourly time frame, this is a huge range to catch on the hourly time frame, right? As compared to maybe the weekly, it may look like there's only a small move over here. But on the hourly time frame, this huge move is more than enough to catch you huge profits, right? And you can identify now that we have a market bias, we know that prices are going lower. You want to see a breakout structure, which clearly did. We have a sell side move, leaving behind a huge imbalance as well as a supply zone. And can you tell me where prices are likely to head towards? So to move down, we need to see a buy before a sell. We need to see a buy into a supply zone before a strong move down, right? Prices don't move one direction or downside. You have to buy to sell most of the time, correct? So can you see that we are likely to believe that prices may come back up towards this supply zone, gives us a transfer of hands before moving down. So whatever happens here, you can use a retail methodology, rising wedge, rising channel, you can use Wyckoff, or a simple breakdown of structure or head and shoulders or whatsoever to catch a move inside of this supply zone before moving prices lower, right? So these levels over here will serve as a liquidation area, right? As prices mix its way into this supply zone, it's going to take out orders over here. It's going to take out orders created inside of here, right? Before a move downside. So on the hourly time frame, here is what we want to catch. So over here, we have the euro dollar. You can see that we are on a monthly supply zone, right? Prices break out of structure, leaving behind an order block. So this becomes our supply zone. On the weekly time frame, we have this buy to sell move over here. You can see this is an order block as well. We have a buy to sell move that broke out of structure, right? And now come back to retest. So you can see on this time frame, on the 8-hour time frame, or on the 4-hour time frame, we have a buy to sell move. We have a supply zone over here where prices taps into, makes a huge breakdown, and now came back up towards this zone over here as well. Alright. So to see a shift in structure, a stopping movement, right? This is a stopping movement, creating liquidation, correct? Liquidity inside of here, and now broke down. So what does this mean? Can you see that this is the last buy to sell move that broke out of structure, leaving behind potential areas inside of here for us to catch a sell? Go down to the... Okay, we go to the 8-hour time frame. See what happens here, okay? This is a classic, maybe upside wedge, or maybe a flag that broke out and now came back down, right? Doesn't matter. The idea behind this, right, is the creation of liquidity in and out of these areas, correct? Now prices breaks down, broke out of this level, break out of this support level on a retail standpoint, and now we are looking for a pullback into this supply zone. Can you see this is the last buy to sell candle, right? And it was left unmitigated. So prices are likely to move towards this area before a sell down towards where? Think of it as a buying standpoint. If you want to be a buyer, where do you want to buy from? Do you want to buy from here, here, or even lower, right? You can buy from all of these levels. And that is why you take partials along the way or at demand zones, right? You can catch a sell into this level, taking profits here and here before looking to buy, right? But then again, we are on a monthly supply. So you want to see stronger movements, right? You want to take a sell down all the way towards maybe this level. Then you want to see a strong break of structure on the monthly time frame, because this is our bias on the monthly time frame, right? You can catch intermediary moves on the lower time frame to buy into this or sell into these levels over here, correct? But ultimately, you're going to bring it down. You're going to see a shift in structure on the monthly time frame. Then you need to see a breakdown of this level, correct? As prices breaks this, then you are clear that prices are likely to go down to mitigate areas over here, right? Then we can see a pullback before a move down. So on our trading time frame, which is in this case, the 8 hour or the 1 hour, we are looking for a pullback towards this 8 hour demand, supply zone, right? So let me just label now. Okay, this is getting messy. This is our 8 hour supply zone. And on the 1 hour time frame, we have this demand zone. So can you imagine, as prices breaks this level, what are prices trying to do? Prices will, or more often than not, come back to retest this demand zone. And you can be a buyer over here, right? Because you know that, okay, if you want to be a seller, you want to sell over here. This is the 8 hour supply zone. So with this projection, you're likely to look for buys into this area to catch a sell down, correct? So this is how you paint your story, how you think of price projection, and how prices are delivered to you, correct? A break of structure leading us to believe that prices are likely to pull back towards a sell, right? And this is the move that we are looking for.